Welcome to Lovin' the Love Boat, a fond and funny look back on the world's greatest cruise ship-based television show. I'm Istvan, singer, songwriter, and TV fanatic.
And I'm Michelle, pop culture enthusiast.
Join us as we relive episodes of one of the most watched TV series of all time.
Occasionally deviating to pop culture charts unknown.
So come aboard, we're expecting you for another edition of
Lovin' the Love Boat.
Welcome you guys to a brand new day.
Certainly is. And a brand new day and time.
Yes. Why did we do this, Michelle? Why have we moved the podcast drop date to a Monday? Because the people have demanded it, Michelle.
It's what the people wanted.
And we did ask, and we got overwhelming. I don't even know that we really got to all of the responses. It was incredible. And everyone just said most people said it was better on a Monday. And we just did Saturday originally because that's when The Love Boat used to air when we were kids.
Exactly.
But I think this is a better day. There's no real reason other than that. And it does make it a little bit easier for me to get the show done.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So welcome. Same great podcast. Great new day. Michelle, we're on episode 41.
Crazy.
I'm going to say right up front, it's an interesting episode. What is the word that I have another adjective for it, but what is yours?
Interesting is good. Slightly confusing.
Straight up weird?
Yeah, a little weird.
It was weird, you guys. Wondering what your take was, but it was, I'm going to say bizarre. It was bizarre in my opinion. And maybe that has something to do with the fact that we have, I think, three completely different writers. The names that I saw for the different storylines, which I will get to in a second, I didn't recognize any of them.
That could be it too, then a fresh batch of writers.
Yeah, and they kind of took a different approach. And normally there's like a lighthearted sort of like comedic relief, and I don't know which one that was on this episode.
It would probably be the Roddy McDowel storyline.
Yeah,
it was had the least amount of tragedy in it.
It was hilarious. All right, let's get to this one. Very curious what you guys thought of it. Let me start with the three brand new writers of our three storylines. First, we have Like Father, Like Son, written by Jerry Winnick. Secondly, we have Don't Push Me, written by Barbara Evans. And lastly, we have Second Chance, written by Lee Aronson. That name may be familiar to me, but definitely we don't have any art bearers and all the people that normally were writing the storylines. Now, who do we have starring in this bizarro episode, Michelle?
First up, we have the beautiful Cathy Lee Crosby.
Yes. Playing Libby Hall.
Yes, she is Libby Hall. And most of you, if you grew up in the 70s and 80s, would remember her. I remember her mostly from That's Incredible.
That's Incredible! Yeah, I love that show.
I did too.
Real people, and That's Incredible, man.
Right. She was fantastic on that show. But she was also fantastic, I thought, on this episode.
Yeah, she was good. She was cast well in this role.
I think so, too. Next, we have Robert Mandan as Woody Billingsley.
Yes.
He's from Soap. I know you never watched Soap, but that was his main thing that I recall him from. And he was also, if you recall, in the movie Zapped.
If you don't think that I don't know him from Zapped, you don't know me. a Scott Baio vehicle, also Willie Ames starring in that, and another lovely lady. What was her name now? I can't remember.
I don't remember, but I do have an autographed picture personally to me from Scott Baio from Zapped. One of my mom's best friend's husband at the time was the still photographer in Hollywood, and he was the still photographer on Zapped.
Wow.
So he got that for me.
That's cool.
I should find it, and I'll post it. Next up is Randolph Mantooth as Alan Billingsley. You might remember him from TV's Emergency.
Nope.
What? You never watched Emergency?
No, I don't like shows like that. I remember the show, but that's right after that, I turned the channel.
I know, one of my parents must have liked to watch it, because I don't think that's like kids are dying to watch Emergency.
No, not at all.
But that's what he's best known for. Then next we have the iconic Roddy McDowel.
Yes.
We know him from lots of things. I obviously, Planet of the Apes. You're a fan of Planet of the Apes?
I bought the entire box set of Planet of the Apes because I like it so much. I give comedian Dana Gould a run for it. No, he loves Planet of the Apes more than any
Yes,
human being
does.
on the planet. No one comes close, but I definitely love Planet of the Apes, yes.
You do. You most certainly do. Next up, we have Debbi Morgan, and I know her, and any person that has watched soap operas in the 70s as in the 80s would know her as Angie Baxter.
What's that from?
All My Children.
Okay, yeah, I did not watch soap operas.
I watched it religiously. I'm sad it's gone.
Mm-hmm.
She was Angie Baxter. She was in the troubled relationship. She was like the smart, cool girl. And then she hooked up with Jesse, who was like the street kid. And like they had forbidden teenage love. But they stayed together for a long time. She was really great on All My Children.
Yeah.
Then next we have Tammy Grimes as Christine. They just have her as Christine, no last name.
Yeah, I didn't find anything for her.
Not British, though.
She wasn't?
No. Her bio says she was born in Massachusetts.
Her character, her hair, everything
I
about
got a whole
what she
thing on-
did is absolutely bonkers. She looked like, in the beginning, kind of like I thought a man in drag because of the wig and the makeup and stuff like that.
She kind of reminded me of like Waylon and Madam type
Yes.
like puppet.
Yeah, that's a great call. Oh my God, you're right.
I was like, what? I mean, as we talk more about the episode, but it's just like, what are they going for by putting her in that getup?
This episode baffled me, man.
And then, like, lastly, is a secondary part, but she was pretty well known. We have Virginia Graham. She was in the gift shop looking at the earrings. Mm-hmm. Interesting story about her is that she was one of the first female talk show hosts. She had her own talk shows in the 60s and 70s, Girl Talk.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and the Virginia Graham Show.
I've never seen her before. That's pretty interesting, though.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Same here. I didn't know anything about her, and I thought, wow, that's really cool. Really
Also,
groundbreaking.
Kind of like a weird thing about the show, because we've mentioned before that there have been people that have had bigger roles than her who didn't get their name in like the show credits, and she didn't have like a huge role. Hers was like this sort of like ancillary role, and they did credit her. It's like weird when they choose to credit people and not credit people, I think. I don't get that either.
I guess because she was slightly famous, maybe good friends with Aaron Spelling. Who
Probably.
knows?
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
you're probably right.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of interesting, we have these new writers, I think, and they start this whole episode off differently. You're not just immediately meeting the guests or the passengers. You are in Captain Stuving's office, the area that we like. Mm-hmm. And he's whacking a can of cashews.
But it's really peanuts.
Was it peanuts?
Yeah, because when they open it, I'm pretty sure it was like peanuts that came flying out.
All right.
Or as I like to say, cashews.
Oh, my God. So, yeah, whatever it was, there's some sort of nut in a jar, and he's whacking it on his, like, cannon thing on the desk. I don't know what that is exactly. And then Isaac comes in because they have something important to discuss about one of the passengers.
Come in.
You wanted to see me, sir?
Yes, Isaac. I wanted to go over your schedule. You're going to need some time to work with the new girl in the gift shop.
No problem, sir. I've already set aside some time.
Oh, good. What was her name again?
Stephanie. Stephanie Jackson.
Ah, yes, Stephanie. Will this be her first job?
No. She worked in a department store before she
Arrested for shoplifting.
You're not having second thoughts about this, are you, sir?
Absolutely not. I'm very glad to be participating in this juvenile rehabilitation program.
Well, actually, my mom deserves all the credit. I mean, it was her church group that started the program.
Yes. I have a lot of faith in you, Isaac. I know you can handle Stephanie's training and adjustment to shipboard life.
Now, Michelle, you know what I forgot?
What?
Because Isaac mentions that his mom's church group put this together, like helping these like troubled youths, to give them like a second chance or a fresh start. Remember who his mom is? Pearl Bailey.
Oh, that's right. Good recall.
That's what I was thinking yesterday. I'm like, hey, yeah, Pearl Bailey was on. And then Michelle was saying how much of an impact she had on us when we were
She
kids.
really
And I'm
did.
like, did she? I don't recall that exactly. And then you thought that she did a different commercial.
I know. So I guess it wasn't that big of an impact. If
We
I
have to
couldn't
go
remember
back.
It.
Yeah, we have to go back. I can't remember. That was the Robert Conrad we talked about. We have to go back to that episode. But yeah, Pearl Bailey is his mom. And
That's right.
she set this all up.
I say we get into the next people to arrive on this cruise. They are the Billingsley father and son duo. I would say in the beginning there it was still a little bit confusing as well because, he's waiting for a girl that he had only been on 3 dates with to show up.
This episode is cockamamie in a million different ways. I was trying so hard to get with it and follow what they were trying to like establish. And I just had a difficult time the entire time. It was really hard for me because the dad was saying he shouldn't have come on. And, Mantooth should have agreed with that 100% based on what's about to go down.
Right.
But yeah, this other person shows up with all of her sketch pads and what have you.
Just going to sketch portrait by art.
Yeah, for like this is a short cruise from what I recall, like a 3-night or 2-day or whatever it was.
I don't, that's a lot of miles.
I think from the last episode when they were under attack from the warship that they had to just go off on a short cruise just to literally test the waters to make sure that they weren't being attacked. But yeah, this father-son duo arrive waiting for a lovely sketch artist.
I don't know. I feel strange being here. Wouldn't you rather be alone with this, Lisa, or is it Barbara, this trip?
It's Libby. Libby Hall.
Libby Hall? Sounds like a dorm in a girls' school.
Well, you haven't met her yet. We've only dated a few times.
She agreed to go on a cruise with you?
She paid for her own cabin.
Oh, well.
Dad, we're just going to spend some time together, that's all.
Then I'll surely be in the way.
Dad, you won't be in the way. She's going to love you.
Ellen.
Libby.
Excuse me.
Hello, how are you?
Good to see you.
I want you to meet my dad. Dad, now this is Libby Hall.
Oh, pleasure. Excuse me.
Alan didn't tell me you were an artist.
You are?
Well, this is either an artist portfolio or you have very thin clothes.
Do you paint?
Not since high school. I once painted a picture of the principal and I was almost expelled.
Right there.
I painted it on the side of his car.
Excuse me. Alan Billingsley. Remember me?
Alan Billingsley. What are you doing here? Listen, why don't you grab a date and join us?
You sure I won't be in the way?
Probably, but it's too late to send you home. Let's get you checked in.
Achoo.
Oh my gosh.
Achoo.
Don't you dare blame me
I am. I'm allergic.
because I made you eat chicken marengo today.
All right.
What the hell is chicken marengo, Michelle?
Well, I'm glad you asked because it sounds completely unappetizing to me.
Yeah, it sounds gross like they put weird fruits and things on
No.
it. What is it?
It is a French dish consisting of chicken sauteed in oil with garlic and tomato. Okay, I can get behind that.
Me too.
Garnished with fried eggs.
Oh,
You're losing me. And crayfish.
oh
Gone.
my God.
I'm out.
Well, hence the sneezing. I can understand. What about a frappe of some kind? Do
I'd
you
rather
like
drink
that?
a million frappes over.
You know those frappes that they're drinking on the ship look like shamrock shakes to me.
They look
Did you
like
notice?
grasshoppers. They
Oh,
drink
yeah,
a
that's
grasshopper. But my only thing is that anybody
Who are
is
we talking about?
Roddy McDowel and your favorite, Tammy Grimes, Christine.
Yeah, she was.
But let me just quickly go back to chicken marengo,
Please.
right? It had to be a popular dish at the time, right?
I have no idea.
Made you be like sophisticated if you ate it because it was French.
Maybe when we were kids, people would always talk about beef stroganoff. That was another one that was talked about nonstop.
Oh, we ate that a lot at my house.
All kinds of dishes like were constantly.
Swiss steak.
No, I don't remember hearing that. Vichyssoise.
Yes.
You know, like certain things people would bring up all the time. I had never heard of chicken marengo, though. That's
I
for
have
sure.
never heard of it, and I watch a lot of cooking shows, and I have never heard of that until that episode.
Well, Roddy McDowell's sick of it. He's sick of being force-fed chicken marengo, and he's got some sort of weird psychosomatic allergy as a result of it. And he comes on this ship sneezing away.
Welcome aboard, Mr. Beery. I'm Julie McCoy, your cruise director, and this is Adam Bricker, our ship's doctor.
Hi. How do you do?
You and Mrs. Beery will be on the promenade deck, cabin 110.
Wait a minute. There is no Mrs. Beery.
I hope you enjoy your cruise.
Oh, I'm enjoying it already. I mean, just one breath of this air, my allergies gone. I'm not sneezing.
Oh, Adam, aren't you surprised? Well, looks like Lawrence is going to stay in business. Excuse us?
I mean nothing. I took the week off, changed your reservation, and booked us the most beautiful cabin on the ship. For 3 wonderful days and 2 fabulous nights, we'll be traveling as Mr. and Mrs. Fred Beery. Your allergy sounds much better. It must be the sea air. Come on.
Yo,
Yeah,
jive turkey. Who comes on the ship next?
it would be Stephanie,
Yeah.
the second chance girl, the shoplifter.
And she's like a little rough around the edges.
She is. She's kind of playing the opposite. She's kind of playing the Jesse character from All My Children because he was from the streets and she wasn't. So It's kind of a little role reversal for her. But yes, she was a shoplifter. You know, she was in jail or juvie or wherever. And she's gotten a second chance through Isaac's mom's church. So she's looking around the ship looking for Isaac.
You got a dude named Isaac Washington around here?
Isaac? Yeah, right there.
Hey, Stephanie, right?
You're Isaac Washington?
Well, if I'm not, I've been sending Mother's Day card to the wrong lady.
But you look black.
No.
I just figured you'd be one of those guilty white liberals.
Well, until one comes along, why don't I show you to your cabin and get you settled in?
Oh, right.
This part, Michelle, made no sense to me because she comes onto the ship. She's stunned that Isaac is African-American, yet she had this whole thing set up by the church group, so I would assume that she would have met Isaac's mother.
Correct.
And was she thinking that Isaac would why would she think otherwise about Isaac? That made no sense to me.
No, and then there was that awkward scene in her cabin.
Oh my gosh, where she just starts unbuttoning her blouse, ready to, pay up in some sort of like lascivious manner.
Yeah, that wasn't necessary.
Look, you got plenty of closet space over here, and the air conditioning controls are on the wall on the... What are you doing?
You got me the gig. I'm ready to pay off.
Stephanie, sit down. No, sit down over here. Now listen, I got you the job for a reason. But it's not the reason that you're thinking. Now all anybody wants is for you to get a fresh start.
I mean, the only good thing about this, I'm going to say, I'm straight up, I was downright upset by this episode most of the time throughout this stuff. These storylines were clunky and weird and strange, and I was not digging it. But there were some moments that were actually kind of cool, and I think handling that in the way that Isaac dealt with it, and that they were dealing with the fact of people needing second chances and being misunderstood and having a hard go of it initially. That stuff was kind of cool. But it was just so slam bang weird,
Yeah.
and I just could not get down with the whole thing, really.
And I appreciate too the captain as well. He was very encouraged and was encouraging towards her. And the whole crew was. Julie, they were really trying to help her out and make her feel welcome on the ship.
Too much so in certain respects. You want to know why?
Why?
The captain is crazy. He is ready to fire Gopher at the drop of a hat, but he lets this girl do whatever she wants, and he's giving her all kinds of chances left and right. There's every reason to kind of fire this girl, and Captain Stubing's giving her all kinds of passes, which is completely insane in my opinion.
Well, he knows she comes from a hard life, so.
Stephanie is kind of she's hardened. And she doesn't believe that anything is real or legitimate or anyone's going to give her a chance to do anything.
Right.
But like you said, the crew, they're magic.
Mm-hmm.
And they are proving otherwise.
Hi, Stephanie. I don't think we've been introduced. I'm Julie McCoy, cruise director. I'm Stephanie Jackson, your friendly neighborhood parolee.
Hi, Stephanie. Think you're going to like working in the gift shop?
Beat shoplifting in the ghetto.
Stephanie, we don't care where you came from or what you did before you got here. The only thing that matters to us aboard this ship is how well you do your job. You're an attractive, intelligent young lady. Give yourself a chance.
Is he for real?
Stephanie, a lot of people are for real. You just haven't met them yet.
I have a question for you.
Yes?
Maybe I missed it, but how did they get to the point of, I get they were in, Roddy, McDowel, and Christine were in the doc's office for his allergies. But how did it get to the point of all of a sudden we're going to get married and we need blood tests? You
know what? You're going to have to ask the writer of this because I have no idea how any of this was happening. I didn't understand any of it.
Was it pre-planned or did she just decide on this very short 3-day cruise that they were going to get married? Why did people need to take a blood test before they got married?
Oh my God. You know what? I have none of these answers for you.
Somebody Please let us
You
know.
can use a phone. You have a phone, and
I do.
you can look it up. It can do other things.
I know.
And it's like, I don't really know, but it's like this whole thing, this whole conceit, the whole thing between the two of them was aggravating me. I started coughing and wheezing, and I couldn't get into any of it.
Was it as aggravating as her hair?
No, the hair was bizarre. It was just so
driving
strange.
me crazy from the get-go. I'm like, is it a perm? Is it a wig? Why is she looking like that?
I don't know. But they go into Doc's office to rush to get like a blood test because they're going to like get married, and just Roddy McDowell's been too much of a wuss to like hurt her feelings. And he reveals like really what happened. I don't know if I'm going to play it or not, but like they hooked up.
Right.
And then I think he felt obligated to be nice to her after the frappe hookup or whatever happened. and this has caused problems the entire time. It's weird.
Thank you for taking care of our blood samples on such short notice, Dr. Bricker. I've got so much to do for tomorrow. Let's see now. We can get the rings in port, and the blue dress will have to do. A veil. I need a veil.
I've got some gauze you can use.
Oh, Fredens, I've got to call my mother. I mean, it isn't every day that a little girl gets married. Doctor, could you get Fredis something for his allergy? I mean, it's not going to be very nice if he goes down the aisle saying "achoo" instead of "I do." I love you, Fredens. Goodbye, Doctor.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Who wrote this one? Is it Don't Push Me? Yeah, Don't Push Me, right? Barbara Evans.
We'll see if she gets another chance.
Oh my gosh, because he's all nervous about all this stuff. He's all freaking out and like maybe like not wanting to hurt her feelings, but then he just lays it down on her.
I know, he's very blunt.
Didn't the doctor give you something for your sneezes?
Huh? There's nothing he can't give me.
Why? What did he say?
Oh, he just said that, sometimes you develop symptoms when you have to do things you don't want to do.
Like what?
Like, when you have to eat spinach when you don't want to, or when you're forced to practice the violin when you don't want to,
But you love spinach, and you love the violin.
But I don't love you. I don't want to marry you. I don't even want to share this cabin with you, oh dear.
Yeah, so he just body slams her verbally, saying that he doesn't want to be around her. And she's, upset. And this was another one of those moments where like they did have like sort of like a dramatic scene. She got to really actually do some acting when she was looking into the mirror and confronting herself and realizing she had pushed him so hard. But it was insane the way that this was going back and forth as sharply as it did. And I couldn't make sense of the whole thing.
No, speaking of not making sense.
Yeah.
The father-son Cathy Lee Crosby triangle that was developing.
What do you mean?
Well, so she immediately went for the dad. I mean, yeah, I get it. She was only on 3 dates.
Right.
With Mantooth. And her and the dad had more in common, like they're sketching. Actually, they made a better couple, too, I thought. But
oh, my God. I thought, you know what? I was like, how dare this woman steal Julie's like trademark moves of being attracted to an older man? I just thought it was offensive across the board. I'm assuming Julie also sketches now, and then that this woman was just taking on all of her like interests and pursuits. But I don't know. I guess it was kind of okay that they were kind of like hitting it off or whatever. And Mantooth is more just wanting to like, get it on.
Oh, yeah. He just had one goal in mind by going on a 3-day cruise with her.
I guess.
Did you, I don't know if I'm jumping ahead, but when they were having breakfast that first morning.
What about it?
Was that fish in a bowl?
Dude.
For breakfast? Like I was gagging.
I just was looking at all the fruit in her drink. She had a lot of fruit in her drink, and I kind of like that. That was kind of okay. A huge hunk of pineapple and some other stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know what they were eating, but like you start to see, I think, like the beginning of the conflict between the two of them.
Right.
I think it was here. It may not have been here.
No, it was here because they were talking about going into town.
To Puerto Vallarta?
Yeah. She's going to sketch. And then the son backs out for some reason.
Are you enjoying this as much as I am?
Yeah, no one is enjoying it as much as you are.
Good morning. Sit down.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Got a sketch today, eh?
Well, I thought I'd go into town. Would you like to come along?
I have a better idea. Why don't we just stay on board today, and you can sketch a gorgeous view from my cabin window.
I really wanted to go to Puerto Vallarta.
I hear it's a beautiful city.
Would you like to come?
Well, I thought you'd never ask. I've got it. The Three Musketeers in Puerto Vallarta.
Perfect.
Now, Dad, why don't you go ahead? Three Musketeers is a crowd.
If Alan wants to be a stick in the mud, let him. I'll tell you what. I will lend you a sketch pad, and then you won't have to use the side of somebody's car.
Do you mind if I go? Of course not.
You know I love cologne on these episodes when I talk about chaps.
Yeah.
Karate.
I can't wait for this Christmas, quite honestly. I
Well, now I might change my tune and get you some Mucho Beast cologne.
Wait, is that what it was?
I think so.
Mucho? I think it would probably be Macho Beast, right? You could be right. I don't know.
I don't know. Maybe you're right. Maybe it is Macho Beast.
Mucho. You know, you're funnier than this entire episode.
I should be on a cruise.
Because
I am like an elderly person.
The Mucho Beast is really that was the not funny running gag that was supposed to add a little humor to this episode, and it did not.
No, I mean Isaac is.
What are we talking about?
We were talking about Stephanie's first day in the gift shop.
Yeah, Isaac's being great. He's being a mentor. He's showing her the ropes of the little. I like that little shop that they have where you can buy stuff in it. And he's just, but this is another thing that doesn't make any sense. Like, he's showing her this. You and I met in retail, if we go into our backstory, at a record store.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, you have to write down a receipt of every transaction because it's the only way we'll know. You have a cash register there. A cash register that's electronic. It's not an old-fashioned cash register. That tells you what your transactions were throughout the day, right?
Possibly. But
you have to write down, that's the only receipt that you have? What's the point of the cash register then?
To make change?
Oh my God.
And make print out a cash receipt?
But that accounts for what you've sold that day.
But maybe they needed like exact details.
Oh, you're going to defend this now.
Well, for inventory purposes. She's not typing in what, I don't even see them scanning a barcode.
But that's what every cash register was. When we worked at the record store, it would tell you what you were typing in. Each one had a number.
That was the late 80s. This is still the 70s.
All right, maybe you're right. Well, she has to write all these things down, which, you know, this is going to lead to the conflict of this episode, and he's showing her that. Gopher walks in looking for something to help him with the ladies.
Now, every time you make a sale, you write up a receipt on this pad. One copy goes to the customer, and the other copy goes into the cash drawer with the money. And it's very important that you don't lose a receipt or misplace it because it's the only record that we have of a sale.
Right. What's a receipt?
Okay. Now, this is the key to the showcase here. All right? It's a good idea to keep this locked because this jewelry in here is the real thing.
Hey, they're beautiful.
Yeah, well, you save your paychecks and they can be yours. Okay? That's just about everything you need to know. You think you can handle this?
Well,
I like the way you've redecorated the gift shop.
no discount for sweet top Gopher. What do you need?
Some new cologne. The only thing my old stuff was attracting was mosquitoes.
That was on one of your better days.
You got anything with a little spice, little lime?
How about this, Gopher? Macho Beast. Guaranteed to kill her. And only $15.
That's an awfully big bottle of cologne.
There
for
was like a
$15.
wine jug, like the Gallo wine jug of cologne. I've never seen that much cologne in my entire life. And he's whining that it's $15 back in like 1970, whatever, 8 is probably the equivalent of $150 now.
But it was probably duty free because they're on a cruise ship.
Oh my God. He should have just had Stephanie steal it for him. Slip it to him in the Acapulco lounge. But yeah, he's got his smelly cologne and he's on his way. And Stephanie is off to the races to work in this shop.
She did a good job.
Yeah, she had skills, man. She was really personable. That lady, the first ever talk show hostess, she was really enjoying her salesmanship.
Yes, she did. I thought she was, didn't she say she worked in a department store?
They owned department stores.
So I thought, like, another confusing thing about this episode. I thought it was going to, like, at the end, it was going to be like, oh, she's going to get a job offer from this lady to work in her department stores.
Yeah, well, it doesn't because it's a maddening episode. I thought the same thing.
It didn't work out that way.
Oh, it was so aggravating to me.
So why have her work at a department store? Maybe have her own a hospital if she's wealthy.
You better settle down with that hospital ownership, all right? All right, you hear me? All right. God, I was yearning for Lyle Wagner to show up on this episode. Oh, my God, nothing could save this one for me. Yeah, so she was doing a decent job, and she has, like, this early exchange with this lady who owns a number of boutiques with her husband, Walter.
Oh, that's right.
I decided to take this sweater. It's your color, too. Now, that is dynamite.
You know, you're right. I will take them both. You know, you have a very good fashion sense.
Thank you. I can't afford $200 outfits, but I read $2 fashion magazines.
I know what I'm talking about. My husband and I own several boutiques. Are these pearls real?
Yes, ma'am. Would you like to see them?
Yes. Oh, my. Oh, they are gorgeous.
With the sweater and scarf? All right.
Oh, I know, but Walter would kill me.
Think of them as a business expense. I mean, you could wear them to work and knock the customers dead.
You know, you're very good, but I better not. At least not until I've had a chance to work on Walter. Would you send these things to me? I'm on Promenade, room 342.
I certainly will.
Well, my dear, it's been a pleasure dealing with you.
Thank you. Come back again.
Oh, I will.
The minute Stephanie put those earrings on after the lady left sent me into anxiety overdrive.
Yeah, and the captain always has this knack of showing up when you don't want him to, really.
Right.
Because he totally sees her do this.
Right, and he's a little confused, but he's going to give her benefit of the doubt.
There was such dramatic music during this part. I loved that part.
There really was.
That part I liked.
His concerned look was very dramatic, too.
And then later, that lady comes back. She wants those earrings, right?
Right, as Isaac decides he's going to close up the shop for her.
But the earrings, they're gone.
Where is our new employee going?
I thought I'd close up, Captain. You know, she really did a great job today.
Good.
Oh,
good.
I'm sorry. You're closing. I'll only take a minute. There was a darling girl that waited on me this afternoon, and she showed me a gorgeous pair of pearl earrings, and I wanted to wear them at dinner tonight, and... Oh, they're gone.
Well, I guess they were sold to someone else.
Let me check.
Oh, I knew I shouldn't have waited to talk to Walter about it. Oh, never mind. Thank you anyway.
There is a receipt for those earrings, isn't there?
I'm sure there is.
To me, that was like a weak way. I don't know. Like you said, this whole episode was kind of terrible.
It really was. I'm going to downright say
like,
it.
Hey, I'm going to let you leave early so you can get ready for Italian fiesta night, which doesn't even make sense.
No.
And then I'm going to close up the shop for you, even though you're supposed to be learning how to run the shop. But that sets it off into a moral dilemma. Like, how do they confront her about the earrings without hurting her feelings or letting her get defensive?
Yeah, that's really going a long way for somebody. You got to give them credit because they really are taking time with this person. They had every reason to assume that she took the earrings, and they were being so kind to her, deferential to her. But I don't even want to give this episode that kind of credit, really, actually. I'm more interested in...
The Billingsleys?
Maybe. Are you interested in the fact that the dad is excited about Fiesta Night, Italian style?
He's putting on his best tux, but he's having some difficulty tying his tie.
Yeah, he needs a young lady to help him do that. And he's jazzed because he's going to see her at dinner. And not only does the son put the kibosh on that in a very harsh manner, he has now ruined any opportunity for dad to eat gross spaghetti.
Al?
What?
It's, Libby I want to talk to you about. Today, with Libby, I felt, young. For the first time in years.
What are you trying to do? Are you trying to make us both look like fools?
I'm telling you how I feel.
What the hell's the matter with you, Dad?
That girl's half your age. I had the feeling that she cared too. You're my father. She's just being nice to you.
I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. There is no fool like an old fool.
That adage has been around a lot longer than you have. Dad, why don't you finish getting dressed? The three of us will have a nice dinner.
Now, look, why don't you and Libby just have a meal alone? Dad. No, please. It would make me happy. Tell her that, make up some excuse for me.
Thought Robert Mandan did a really good job of being like hurt from his son after that argument.
That was one of the only saving graces. I totally agree with you, because he didn't get up. It was really kind of sad because he didn't get mad. He didn't fight back with the son. And he really felt that that was the truth, that like this woman was humoring him.
Mm-hmm.
And he took it kind of valiantly, I thought. And yeah, I agree with you. I thought that was an actual good scene. It was one of the parts that I enjoyed. And then what did he do, Michelle? When you're sad, what do you do?
Put on your comfy striped robe and order room service.
Yeah. I'm so proud of him, too, that he didn't just start smoking. You know what I mean? Everyone smokes in their room when they're bummed out.
Or Christine, if you recall, when they were at dinner, she was smoking.
Full on smoking.
Like, how is that courteous to the other passengers?
Nobody cared back then. Everybody could smoke anywhere that they wanted to.
Trust me, I had a grandmother that smoked everywhere and then stopped going to restaurants.
What a gross time.
When she could no longer smoke in them.
Yeah, but that's the thing. With those two, she just like shifted gears on him so hard. You know, like it hit her so hard that he gave her like that talk, you know, that he didn't want to marry her. And then she just like something snapped in her.
Not her tight curls.
Oh, my God. Get off her case.
But I think it just reality hit her. Like she was delusional about their relationship. And then it hit her like, wow, okay, he doesn't like me and I'm making all this up. So F him. I'm going to just do my thing on this cruise and ignore him.
Well, Fred, are you doing what you want to do?
Christine, I wanted to talk to you this morning, but you've gone already.
I'm not going to push myself on you anymore. I want you to feel like I'm not even here.
You didn't have to spend all night in the bathtub.
It was okay, except when the shower dripped. No, wait. I'm not playing the martyr. I realize that for a long time, you've been doing things my way and hating every minute of it. What are you drinking? Scotch? Well, you probably can't stand creme de menthe.
Oh, well.
And I bet you hate chicken marengo, too. No wonder you had that allergy. I'm glad we got it all out in the open.
Oh, but I am sorry I made you cry.
It's not the first time you've made me cry, but it will be the last. I guess I finally realized that when you reach the end of the rainbow, there isn't necessarily a pot of gold.
As you had stated earlier, there were not a lot of lighthearted scenes in this episode.
No, I think that's why I extra did not like it, because I like the funniness.
And it only got heavier.
Oh, my God.
Between the father and son.
Yeah, you hated to see that.
I know, because Cathy Lee leaves the dinner table and goes to the father's room.
She wants nothing to do with it. It ruined her fiesta that night, too.
It did.
Because she was upset that the dad wasn't there.
Mm-hmm.
Mantooth is catching on, though, right, Michelle?
He certainly is.
So she beelines for the cabin to go speak with Dad.
To see what is really going on.
Fine friend you are. Standing there for dinner?
What? Didn't you see Alan? I told him to tell you.
Please don't let Alan come between us.
I'm twice your age.
That is not you talking. That is Alan talking.
Well, he's right.
He's not right. From the first moment I met you, I felt something special. I think you did too. And then in town today, the most wonderful time I've had in a long time.
How about you and Alan?
Alan, we're friends. We've dated a couple of times. Anything more than that is just in his imagination. As for you, you're everything that I always wanted to have in a man. Warm and compassionate and funny and gentle. Whew. I think I'm falling in love.
You too.
Oh, boy. Oh, it's okay. In the future, remind me not to bring my women around you. I wouldn't want to be accused of having a dirty old man for a father.
Oh, son.
Alan?
How about that slap?
It looked painful. It was very upsetting.
It is well deserved.
Yeah. I mean, that was a pretty strong insult to the old man.
Clearly felt bad about it afterwards.
It was so wild, but it was a decent scene because, him, slapping his son out of being insulted was fairly heavy. But then his weird hug that he gives to him,
I know.
he gave that strange hug. It was a weird physical gesture, but it was also kind of nice because he felt terrible that he had just hit his son, but he was overwhelmed at that moment. It's just everything across the board was so weird because wasn't he still in the weird robe at that point?
Yeah, he was. I think that's actually the first time we see him in the robe is when she comes to his room. So
how do you think Abe Vigoda's doing in his little apartment right now? How do you think those guys? I wish we could follow them right now.
I think he's really angry that he made a decision to have Nancy Walker.
Why? I like Nancy Walker. She was spunky and she's cute, and I really thought that they made kind of a great couple because he was sweet, but he's really quiet, and I like those two. I thought that they were great.
I hope they made it.
God, I miss them so much right now. Oh man. Yeah, so did she sketch this? Did
Did she run back into her room and sketch it all out?
No, just like on a menu or something in the room, just like the dad slapping the son. Just a quick little sketch that they could frame for later to remember this cruise. This one was a bonkers.
It was, really.
But you know what? The cavalcade of sadness and hurt feelings and all of that doesn't end there.
It does not.
No, because guess who else is upset? Stephanie.
She is.
Because I think, what was it? Didn't Isaac just come right out and ask, like, did you take the pearl earrings?
Right. He basically did, and then it set her off.
Stephanie, there's something that I have to ask you, and I don't want you to take this in the wrong way. You showed a pair of pearl earrings to a passenger this afternoon.
Yeah, so?
She came back later to buy them, but they were gone. And I was wondering...
You were just wondering if I stole them.
No.
Oh, man, I knew it. I knew I would get nailed for something on this jive ship.
Stephanie,
oh, come on.
Wait a minute, now look,
Don't talk to me. Don't say a word. I'll show you.
Stephanie, you just, kind of...
Now, there are your damn earrings. I put them aside because I knew that lady would be back for them. But no, you figure once a thief, always a thief, right? Well, you can take your earrings and your job, and you know what you can do with them.
Michelle, this was like kind of the only, one of the only other compelling parts, decent parts as far as the writing, and should have been made the main drama on this episode. There was too much drama.
Mm-hmm.
And this would have been fine. This would have been fine if this was just one element of it. But I think they were just too heavy in one way. The ship it's listing. Isn't that what it is when a ship is tilting to one side?
Oh, I have no idea.
I think that's what it is. I'm going to go. We need Captain Bob to tell us. I do believe it's listing. But yeah, so she is upset. And then Isaac feels terrible about accusing her for something that he thinks she did not do now. But you know what? Let's make a sad attempt at levity, shall we?
Sure.
let's all get in our PJs. Let's straighten our hair for no discernible reason. And
Okay.
yes.
So that was confusing because, like, were we to believe she was just straightening her hair with a brush, or were we to believe, like, she was kind of fake herself?
What are we talking about?
Christine. Was she, like, in her... Because then remember, in the beginning, she was in, like, sexy pajamas. Then she was in, like, her frumpy pajamas.
Dude,
and then...
The only note I have on this entire episode is, what the F is going on? That's all I wrote. And then I put Fred and Christine pajamas. That's it. But I didn't say F. I wrote the entire thing out. Because, yeah, she comes out of the room. He comes running back because now at this point, you guys, he's in love with her.
Yes. And he's stolen Gopher's cologne from him.
It doesn't make any sense. And then it's like he comes back in the room with the 2 shamrock shakes. And then she is there in the room. And she tells him to get in his PJs.
Christine? Christine, it's Fred.
Just changing into something comfortable.
Oh, fine. You just take your time, Christine. Oh, Fred, be waiting. Oh, Christine.
What can I say, Fred? This is comfortable.
You're beautiful.
Don't be silly. Well, go get your pajamas on so we can go to bed.
So yeah, during this, prior to it, she came out of the little teeny tiny bathroom that everybody has in their cabins with her hair completely straight after having it in this tight, crazy curls. And it's like she's a different person.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't understand why that was happening. And like, he's totally into her. He did hop into his PJs and then he's completely shut down after all of this. And I didn't understand what, why, how, any of the questions a good reporter is meant to ask.
Yeah, that was confusing too. I mean, none of it made sense.
Guys, for us, obviously, we were not down with this one. Very confused. And the confusion continued, really, as they tried to wrap up all this stuff. And Mantooth is basically dragging Cathy Lee Crosby down a hall. And she's saying no, as if like he's trying to like just hop on top of her.
Correct.
Which is kind of disturbing
weird.
and gross.
Mm-hmm.
But in reality, this was his ham-fisted way of being, like, artful to lead her to his dad. And he tells some cockamamie story. I would just like to say something else. I have a good story about this because he tells this story about his father racing him when he was a kid, when they took the bus to school. Did you catch that part?
Yeah.
Well, let me let Mantooth lay this on everybody. Hang on.
Alan, I don't want to go to your cabin.
Well, that's too bad. Besides, you owe me a rain check. Now, before we go in, let me just tell you a little story. When I was a kid, my dad used to take me to school every day. We'd get off the bus on the corner and we'd race to the playground. I'd be ahead, and then he'd pass me by. Just before we got there, I'd grab a hold of his coattails and I'd push on past him. I used to win every morning. It wasn't until a few years later that I figured out that my dad was letting me win. Maybe that's the way that I felt with you. I felt like I was back in a race with my father.
Well, race is over. I don't think anybody won.
No, it's not over. Not until somebody crosses that finish line.
Yeah, so then he lets the dad, and then that's gross too, because then he's like handing her off to her like they're about to have sex with one another. It's like, here you go, Dad. Here's the girl that I was supposed to be with on this cruise. You take her away for like the last night of romance. Let me tell a nice story. Can I tell a nice story, a funny story? Here's a better story of a dad with their child racing. When I used to pick up Evie from school all the time, I always look forward to it. I'd always walk, and then we would walk back home together. And when she was really little, she would start running, and we would both race to our house. And she was so clever, a crafty little devil, that I would start catching up with her. And to make sure that she would win the race, she would take her backpack and drop it on the ground, knowing that I'd have to go back and get the family.
She's smart.
It was the greatest tactic, because she knew I'd have to go get it, and then she was sure to win the race. Oh, that's a better story. And that could have been lighthearted where we could have been on a cruise in some way, right, Michelle? And
Maybe
we can't
you
find
will
you
be
the whole time.
in 10, 15 years, and then you'll reiterate that story.
But hopefully she won't steal any pearl earrings, just like Stephanie did, right, Michelle?
Yeah, so Stephanie admits to taking the earrings.
She walks into the captain's cabin. She knocks on that door. She's wearing salmon-colored bell-bottomy pants and some sort of weird pirate half shirt.
It's her groovy 70s shirt.
And she gives us a pretty decent twisteroo.
I really blew it with Stephanie. She was just starting to trust people. Now I can't even find her to talk to her.
Isaac, you were following orders.
If I'd only had a little more faith in her.
Come in. Yes?
I took them.
What?
I stole the earrings.
But Stephanie...
Before dinner, I went and put them back. But it doesn't make any difference, does it? I still took them.
Stephanie...
Send me back to the correction center. That's where I belong.
Young lady, I have only one thing to say to you. You're late for work.
Huh?
We'll be in port soon, and you have to take inventory. You have 5 minutes to get down to the gift shop.
Inventory, you know, that's when you make a list.
I know what inventory is, jive turkey. Captain, how can I thank you?
Now you have 4 minutes.
Yes, something else. Thank you.
Isaac, tell me, what exactly is a jive turkey?
See, now I didn't see that coming, Michelle.
I didn't either. I really thought she was innocent, and then...
Yeah, and then that was actually decent. See, I think that they should have stuck on that thing and done some better comedy throughout the other things and less completely baffling storylines, and it would have been a really good episode, I think.
Totally agree.
And it was very sweet the way that she reacted. She was so happy, and it's like that is what some people need, is they really do need a chance, and they need somebody who knows how to like be empathetic and kind.
Well, right. She messed up. She admitted that she messed up, and I think that's what got the captain.
Yeah.
So he told her to go take inventory.
Yeah, it was cool.
Mm-hmm.
That part I did like. I enjoyed that a lot.
I did too. Still confused on this one.
What do you mean? This one what?
The Roddy McDowel and Christine story.
You know what? You and me both.
Because I didn't quite understand how it concluded. Then she's sneezing at some point.
Oh, God. Boy, oh, boy. Yeah, so he's just chasing her right past that weird, like, shark mouth modern art on that stairway, begging her to marry him after he told her throughout the entire beginning that he didn't want to, and it makes no sense.
Please, Christine, marry me.
You're creating a scene.
No, I don't care what it is. I love you. You hear? I love this lady. I love her.
What has gotten into you?
Christine, you must marry me. I don't want to force you. Now, whenever you want, you just take your time. Just in a day, a week, a month, forever. I don't care. I'll wait.
Keeping it creepy. the trifecta of father, son, and girlfriend.
Oh, my God.
Still ended on a weird note, I thought.
Well, at least it's classic Love Boat where these people met each other and now they're going to get married.
In 2 weeks.
Yeah, 2 weeks' time they've decided on. 2 weeks is a good time to really get to know one another.
Right. But the fact that they drop in the mother joke.
Oh, God.
Was also upsetting.
You don't mind my saying so, Miss Hall. You were one of the most beautiful ladies on this cruise.
Go for it. That is not a thing to say to a lady who's about to be a mother in 2 weeks.
Well, you're going to be a mother in...
Yes. Yes.
Who else was on That's Incredible? Fran Tarkington?
Oh, that's right.
Who else was on there?
Oh, man.
Was John Davidson? Or was he on Real People? John Davidson, wasn't he?
I think he was.
He's around. I follow him. We follow him on Instagram. He's always playing an acoustic guitar with his super silvery hair.
It was Fran Tarkington, John Davidson.
Oh, yeah.
And Cathy Lee.
Oh, yeah. Because remember Flip? What was the other dude's name from Real People? Wasn't it Flip something? And then Sarah Purcell. Wasn't it Sarah Purcell?
Yes.
Come on. Am I getting this right?
You are You are really good with these.
I love those shows. And then wait. Then it was like Fred Willard. Wasn't he on that as well sometimes? On Real People? I thought it was.
Oh, I don't know. Byron Allen.
Oh, my God. God, I love those shows.
Yeah,
they
those
were
are
awesome.
cool.
Remember the Yogi Kudu? The Yogi Kudu was, oh my God.
I think you like these shows way more than I
dude,
did.
I love those shows so much. The Yogi Kudu was like, he was like an Indian sort of like whatever. I don't know what they're called, but he was able to put himself, like fold his body into the box.
Oh, okay, yes.
See, that was so awesome. And like I was fascinated. It was like before David Blaine. It's like the Yogi Kudu was on there. I think that's what he was called. But like the Yogi Kudu was a very skinny guy and like he was into like meditation. So then he could train himself to fold his body into this tiny like plastic cube where you could see inside of it. And I just remember how humid it got in the plastic cube.
Steamy?
Yeah, so steamy. And I thought it was horrible, but I couldn't stop watching. It was so amazing to me. I love those. We got to bring those back, man. Why did somebody not bring those shows back? We should have just talked about that. It's incredible for this whole episode because I had way more fun.
That needs to come back. And you know what else I miss?
What?
Battle of the Network Stars.
Oh, my God. And how competitive Gabe Kaplan would get and Billy Crystal. Those two guys would get so competitive like they were actually in the Olympics. It's like, settle down, you guys. You're going to get smoked in the tug of war anyway.
I always loved the tug of war. I believe everybody on the Love Boat was on that
like
at
you
some
knew,
point.
like it's like, oh man, we're on the network with Lou Ferrigno. We're gonna win, man. Bill Bixby's up front, but like Lou Ferrigno's in the anchor space, and it's like, oh, we're gonna dominate on this. Oh my God, I would love to see that again, guys.
Too.
Our apologies. We should have focused on these topics instead. Maybe we'll have a bonus episode of some kind. But we appreciate you for sticking with us, for toughing it out through this episode. If you like this episode, please let us know because this one really, really threw me for a loop. Thank you guys for following us to the new day. We hope to see you all for episode 42. Fingers crossed that it's one that we love as much as all the others.
Hope it's a little less heavy next time.
I could not agree more. But until then, I am Istvan.
I'm Michelle.
Captain Stubing, please come to the bridge.
And we are
Loving the Love Boat.